Good morning. Back with take two. I've got the camera oriented the right way this time. So I'm not as late as I had thought I might be. We had an orthodontist appointment this morning, so just showing up now from dropping kids off at school after that. So the card I'm going to make today is using the Witty-cisms stamp set. This is in our new mini catalog. Well, not that new, I guess it's a month old now, in our mini catalog, and it's one that I just really wanted to highlight because it kind of has something for every occasion and just the cutest little pictures. So today I'm going to be actually using a card sketch. So the design of the card was created by somebody else. I'm not even really sure at this point who it was. I've had the sketch saved in a notebook for quite some time. And so I'm going to create a card today using this stamp set, and I'm going to use my favorite one on the whole thing. Although I love the chinchilla, the thank you very much is absolutely my favorite. I love the colors that I can use with it, and just always am in need of thank you cards. So I'm going to get started with a piece of Whisper White cardstock and my thank you very much stamp. And I'm going to use some Memento ink and stamp that onto my cardstock. With that done, I'm actually going to give it a little bit of color right now. I find that coloring it before I cut these out onto smaller shapes is just a lot easier for me. I have some paper to hold on to, and so I'm going to come in here with my dark Granny Apple and just do the little highlights. And then my light Granny Apple blend and fill that in. And then just do a little bit more coloring to blend that. Oh, good morning, Janice. I know. I love this one. It kind of reminds me of like the Pun Fun and other stamp sets from the past. It's just super fun to use. All right, so that's the Granny Apple for the stem. Now for the strawberry itself, I'm actually going to be mixing up colors. I'm using the light Real Red and the dark Lovely lipstick. Although they both kind of look pink, they do actually come out quite red. So I'm going to start with the dark Lovely lipstick, and I'm going to come in and just do the highlighted spots of my strawberry, and then another little bit in there, and then I'm going to do my little dots on my strawberry. There we go. Then I'm going to come in with the light Real Red and blend that all together. Love this Real Red. All right. And then just a bit more to blend that. And then I realized, actually, just as I'm doing this, that strawberry seeds tend to either be black or white, so I might actually come in here with my color lifter and actually take the color out of my spots. So I'm going to use the fine tip end and just color my spots. It's not going to like turn them white. It's just going to give a little bit of contrast and lighten those up a bit. There we go. All right. So with our strawberry colored, I'm just going to put a little bit of shading around it. You could use crumb cake for this, or I think I just grabbed ivory to put that, just that little bit of shading around it. Oh, stickles for the seeds. That's a great idea. A little bit of sparkle on there. I love it. Okay, so with our image color, that's really the only stamping and coloring we're going to do on this card. The rest of it is just kind of using some fun tools and putting together a card. And of course, because I'm trying to clean up my desk this week, we're going to be using some scraps off my desk as well. So I'm just going to grab my Big Shot. Here we go with the Big Shot. I'm going to be using my stitched shape dies. They're one of the first die sets that I bought, and probably the one I use the most because it's all of the circles with the scallops. And so I just use them so much. So I'm going to do a black scallop border, And then I'm going to take our thank you very much image with one of the circles, and I'm going to cut those two out. Grab my plate. Go. I finally got new plates for this. I've been holding off, but once I heard we weren't getting our new machine till June, I just thought, well, mine are starting to leave little white chunkies on things. It's time. So we've got those two pieces cut out, and then I'm going to use my stitched rectangular dies to cut out another shape for our card. So the stitched rectangular dies come in so many. Oh, I know I don't have them yet. They're on my February wish list to get the stitched dies, like the scallop rectangulars and stuff. I cannot wait to get them, but for now I'm going to use my stitched rectangular framelits, which are awesome, and I'm going to use those with Whisper White. So put that down. Now when you're using these, the more of an angle you can have them on, the better, just so that you don't get that horrible speed bump effect. So I've put that on at quite an angle. I know it wastes a bit of paper, but I wasn't going to be doing much with the rest of this white anyways. So here we go. And then because of that corner leading, we really didn't get a big clunk as we go through. So yeah, for those of you who haven't seen all of the mini catalog or didn't notice the dies in the mini, it's here on page 20. Bring that in so you can really see it. These are scalloped dies, some really nice frames that go with the So Sentimental stamp set, but then those really nice bigger rectangles. So yeah, I'm waiting for those, but in the meantime, my stitched rectangular dies are awesome, and what I like about them is they do create stitching on the outside as well as on the inside. So I can actually then come along and use my paper cutter and trim that up, and then I'll have a nice border with the stitching on the inside. So I actually don't toss these, I set them aside and trim them up later. So with that all cut out, using that, I'm actually going to bring in now my very, very cute mini cutter. So now if you do not have one of these, it means that you either aren't a demo, well, you aren't a demo, because if you're a demo, you could pre-order this back before Christmas. And if you missed the pre-order, then anybody who signs up as a demo from now till March 31st gets one of these and a cute little pack of DSP, kind of like a sampler of DSPs from the mini catalog, a stamp set of your choice, and $165 worth of product for just $135. And if you're in BC, that doesn't have any shipping or taxes on it. So kind of nice. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut a piece of black using my beautiful little trimmer, and I'm going to cut it just a little bit larger than my white shape here. So my white shape here is at 3, and it looks like 3/8. So I'm going to cut this just a tiny bit bigger than that. So I was at 3 3/8, so I'm going to go up to there. And then in the other direction, oh, darn it. Okay, so this guy's not quite big enough because he does only go out to about the 4 1/4 mark. And I need something a little bit longer, so that's fine. I'll use that little trimmer up a little bit later. So I'm going to bring out my bigger trimmer to do this other cut. So I need this to go all the way to 5 minus 1/8. Okay. So 5 minus 1/8. I'm just trying to create, oh, that was my scoring blade. There we go. I'm trying to create just a very thin border around my stitched shape. I don't really want the black to be super visible. I just want it to kind of accent what we've got going on. All right. Oh, and after all of that, I actually cut that black piece, the first cut, just a little too small. All right. Luckily, I've got lots of black scraps on my desk, so we'll go back in and give that one more go. All right. Sometimes I am not the best with the measurements, especially when I'm trying to make these tiny, tiny ones. All right. So let's see. That. Okay, so 5 minus 1/8 was right. 5 minus 1/8, we'll keep with that. And then our other direction. All right, so 4.5 plus 1/8, I guess. All right, so that is the direction. Okay, let's see if I do this right. 4.5 plus 1/8. That doesn't seem right. Wow, why am I having so much trouble with measurements today? Oh, because it's 3.5 is what I'm going for. 3.5 plus 1/8. Wow, really struggling today. Okay. There we go. After all those struggles, I finally got a mat that's just going to be a tiny bit bigger than my die. Okay, it really shouldn't be that hard. The other thing you could do is I could have done the other stitched dies that are just a little bit bigger. I just wanted like a really, really tiny border on there. And in fact, I think I'm going to even trim that just a tiny bit more. Just a bit. This cutter is so good for those ultra fine cuts. It's just so sharp and does such a good job. All right. Excellent. So that's exactly what I'm going for. All right. So now I'm going to bring my trimmer out again, and I'm going to use it to cut up a bunch of scraps on my desk. So I've got like all these different shades of pink, and I'm going to cut them into, let's see, 2.5. That's 2.5-ish. Good. So 2.5. And then from here, I'm going to cut them at not a quarter of an inch, but like 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Actually, that might even be a little too small. Let's see what a half looks like. So let's cut it back on a 2-inch marker so that I can go from there. That's a quarter. Let's see what 3/4 will look like. All right, I think that's going to be a little too wide. So we could try the 1/2 inch. Okay, we're running out of space here, but this is actually such a good cutter that it doesn't really have a problem with that. Okay, so we're going to try those two. So we've got, I think these are quarters, so we've got a 1/2 inch and, I don't know, somewhere between 1/2 and a quarter of an inch. We'll try both of those out in terms of sizing on the card. So if I've got a few of those, I think that might end up being a little too thick, but we'll try. Okay, here we go. Pop that out. Come in here, I'll do that full 2 bars, and then I'll do one that's 2 and a bit. We'll give them both a shot. So there's the skinnier ones. Oh, that was my extra piece, right? Okay, I feel like I'm losing pieces. Oh, right, it's on my card already. Oh, okay. I am losing my mind. Okay, so 2 whole bars and 2 and a bit. At the very least, I'm going to have pieces cut up so that I can do a second card and go from there. All right, so 2, and then 1 with 2 little dashes. There we go. All right, so I've got all those little scraps cut up. I'm going to pull in a lovely lipstick base to put all of this on. And I'm going to see the different sizings here. So if I put all of these down, so put that, let's see, I think this might actually end up being too wide and my circle isn't going to cover it all. No, my circle's not going to cover all of that. Okay, that's okay. We'll use those on something else. I'll do something with a larger circle. And for this one, we'll use these kind of skinnier pieces here. There we go. And wonderful, that's going to fit really nicely. So our next job is to actually just start to glue all of this together, and I am going to use my glue. I love my liquid glue so that I can really get things lined up well. And so this, what's nice about this design is you could do this in any color combo using any of the stamps from the Witty-cisms stamp set, and you could end up with a whole bunch of really nice cards for lots of different occasions, and all just using the same sketch. So here we go. I'm going to glue this straight onto my card as well. That. Now this is going to be the tricky part, is getting these glued down so that they're straight. Actually, I'm going to glue these together first and then switch around and use the skinnier end of this glue stick. So there are two ends on each of these glue sticks. The end I'm using is kind of like the old primary school glue end, where you can put a little bit of glue and then spread it. And then the other tip is more of like a fine glue tip. And so really concentrates where the glue is coming out. And so just below halfway, and then make sure that's straight. Ooh, there we go. All right, and it doesn't matter if like you're using scraps on your desk and these aren't all exactly the same length, because at the end of the day, at the end of making the card, we're actually covering up this end with our strawberry. So the fact that I'm using scraps that are different lengths really doesn't matter. So this is a great way to use up all those little bits of color that you have on your desk. Great way to, you know, make a few bases and don't even put your sentiments on, and then kind of decide which one would go best with the color combos that you've got created just from the scraps on your desk. All right, there we go. Oops, go back. There. All right, so with those colors on there, I am going to grab some dimensionals, and actually I'm just going to grab the trim from some of my minis and cut it up to use, because I've been using a lot of mini dimensionals lately and I have all these borders left over. So lots of good dimensional bits there. Okay. And now the last piece that we're going to add to this, I did a card order for somebody and it used the glitter enamel dots. However, it only used the blue and the green ones. And I made a lot of these cards. So I have an absolute ton. This is only a fraction of what I have left over of the pink and the purple dots. So I'm like, okay, I need to create some projects that are going to allow me to use up some of these pink and purple dots. So today I'm going to work on using up some of these pink dots. And so I am going to use a ton of them actually. I'm going to come in here and kind of create like a little like pathway of dots. All right. And one more in here. No, and I want to move that. Hopefully that didn't stick too well. There we go. All right. Nice. So a little pathway up there of dots, and then we'll continue it down here with some more of these dots. All right. I feel like I need to have like one more down there. So I'm just going to come in, grab one more small one. It's not like I have a shortage of them. So here we go. Awesome. And there is our cute card made with the Witty-cisms stamp set. So I'll just show that stamp set to you again. So as you can see, you could totally change up the colors here. Do like, you know, a yellow and green, maybe even put some crumb cake or something in there, and then put the Talk About Awesome in there. You could do some pastel colors and put in Welcome Little One, or, you know, a nice little rainbow or something in there. So lots of options for using up those scraps on your desk. And then, like, so many of these fit inside a nice little circle. It's only about this wow, time went by fast that doesn't fit in there. But you could, of course, throw in like a happy birthday in there and then put the wow, time went by fast at the bottom. So many options with just using some scraps on my desk. So I hope you liked that, and I do have a few other Witty-cisms cards coming up this week in my posts, so keep your eye open for those, and have a great day. Bye-bye.